Goldman Sachs research, they're predicting that AI could disrupt a massive, 300 million full-time jobs globally.
Wow.
But the IMF offers a slightly different perspective.
Okay, so what's their take on this?
So they're emphasizing that while 40% of global jobs might be disrupted, that doesn't necessarily mean they'll disappear entirely. It's more about a shift, a transformation in how we work.
Okay.
And what's fascinating here is the shift in focus from blue-collar to white-collar jobs. For decades, the fear of automation was always centered around blue-collar jobs.
Right.
But now, the spotlight has really shifted to these white-collar professions.
So lawyers, accountants, even software developers are now facing the heat.
Precisely. Business Insider highlights that AI isn't just automating simple tasks anymore. We're seeing AI drafting legal documents, building financial models, and even handling customer service with surprising nuance. But begs the question, are we all about to be replaced by robots? And to answer it, we need to understand which white-collar jobs are most vulnerable.
Okay.
Research from Indeed points to software development,
Okay.
IT, mathematics, information design, legal and accounting roles being at the top of the list.
Wow, that's a pretty broad spectrum of professions.
Yeah.
Why are these jobs particularly at risk?
The key factor here is generative AI. It's becoming incredibly good at performing a vast majority of the skills required for these jobs.
Really?
In fact, Indeed found that AI can already handle 95% of the tasks involved in these professions.
That's a pretty stark statistic.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, why are some jobs more affected than others? Like, I've heard truck drivers are actually relatively safe.
Right.
Even though it seems like that would be an easy job for a robot to do.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Right. But think about it. Truck driving requires physical presence, spatial awareness, and making complex decisions in unpredictable environment. AI still struggles to replicate these capabilities effectively.
Interesting.
So this highlights a key point. It's not just about the type of job, but the specific tasks involved and whether AI can realistically perform them.
So for those of us in white-collar jobs, the question becomes, does our work primarily involve tasks that AI could potentially master? That's a bit of a wake-up call, wouldn't you say?
It is, and it underscores the need to understand the evolving landscape of your profession.
Yeah.
But before we all spiral into an existential crisis,
Right?
let's remember that it's not all doom and gloom. There are silver linings to this AI cloud.
Okay, I'm ready for some good news. Tell me there's hope.
There absolutely is. While some jobs will inevitably be displaced,
Right.
AI is also creating new opportunities.
Okay.
And this is where things start to look a bit brighter.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the evolving landscape of white-collar work in the age of AI. We painted a pretty stark picture so far.
Yeah.
AI disrupting millions of jobs, white-collar professions, feeling the heat. It's a lot to process.
It is, and I think it's important to acknowledge the psychological impact of these, rapid advancements. The uncertainty surrounding AI is creating a sense of unease,
Yeah.
even among those whose jobs aren't immediately threatened.
It's like this constant low-grade hum of anxiety. Will my job be next?
Right.
What skills will I need to stay relevant 5 years from now? 10 years? It's overwhelming.
It's a valid concern, and that feeling of being on shaky ground can be incredibly stressful.
It almost feels like we're on this runaway train and no one's quite sure where it's headed or if we can even slow it down.
That's a powerful analogy.
Yeah.
And ignoring these feelings won't make them go away. So how do we deal with this AI-induced anxiety? How do
Yeah.
we regain a sense of control in this rapidly changing landscape?
All right, lay it on me. What's the antidote to this feeling of impending doom?
First and foremost, knowledge is power. The more you understand about AI and its potential impact,
Right.
the less intimidating it becomes. So step one is to stay informed.
That makes sense. But where do we even begin? There's so much information out there.
Yeah.
It's easy to get lost in the noise.
You're right. It can be overwhelming. But remember, you don't need to become an AI expert overnight. Start by focusing on reliable sources of information,
Okay.
reputable news outlets, industry publications, research institutions.
Right.
Those are good starting points.
So it's about being discerning consumers of information, cutting through the hype and the fear-mongering to get to the facts.
Exactly. And once you have a solid understanding of the basics, you can start exploring more specialized resources that are relevant to your field or your interests.
Okay, so we arm ourselves with knowledge. What's the next step in our AI survival guide?
Focus on developing the skills that will make you indispensable in the AI age.
Okay.
It's not just about technical skills, although those are certainly important.
So we're talking about those so-called soft skills?
Sure.
The human element that robots haven't quite mastered yet.
Precisely. Things like critical thinking,
Yeah.
problem solving, communication, collaboration,
Right.
and emotional intelligence.
These are the skills that AI, at least for now, struggles to replicate.
Yeah.
So it's about finding that sweet spot, the intersection of human capabilities
Right.
and AI's strengths.
Exactly. We need to focus on what we do best and let AI handle the tasks that are better suited to its capabilities. It's not humans versus machines.
Right.
It's about humans and machines working together.
I love that. Finding the synergy between human ingenuity and artificial intelligence.
Right.
But that also means constantly learning and adapting.
Right. Absolutely. Embracing a mindset of lifelong learning is crucial in the age of AI.
Okay, but what does that actually look like in practice?
It means being open to new information, experimenting with new tools,
Yeah.
and constantly seeking out opportunities to grow. The skills you have today might not be the skills you need tomorrow, so flexibility and adaptability are key.
So it's about being comfortable with being uncomfortable,
Yeah.
stepping outside of our comfort zones and seeing those moments as opportunities for growth rather than threats.
Exactly. And it's not just about formal education or training programs.
Right.
It's about cultivating a genuine curiosity about the world, a thirst for knowledge. That's something that no AI can ever take away from us.
That's a great point. So we've talked about staying informed, developing those essential human skills, embracing lifelong learning. Are there any other strategies we can use to manage AI anxiety and position ourselves for success in this new world?
There are, and this might sound counterintuitive,
Okay.
but it's incredibly powerful. Focus on your strengths.
Okay. That sounds like a page out of a self-help book.
Yeah.
How does that apply to the AI revolution?
When we feel threatened by something, it's easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others,
Yeah.
focusing on what we lack.
Right.
That can be incredibly discouraging. But instead of obsessing over what AI can do better than us, we should be celebrating what makes us uniquely human.
So we need to stop comparing ourselves to robots and start recognizing our own unique talents and abilities.
Exactly. What are you passionate about? What are you naturally good at? What brings you joy?
Right.
Focus on those things. Develop those skills. Find ways to leverage them in your work and in your life.
Yeah.
Let AI handle the things it's good at, and we can focus on what makes us human.
So it's about reframing the narrative.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing AI as a threat, we can choose to see it as an opportunity to rediscover our own strengths
Right.
and to find new ways to express them.
Precisely. And that's incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
When you focus on your strengths, you build confidence, you feel more in control, and you're better equipped to navigate the challenges and uncertainties of the AI age. It's about reclaiming agency in a world that can often feel like it's spinning out of control.
I like that. Taking control, owning our strengths, and not letting the robots define our worth. But let's be real. Even with all this positive self-talk, sometimes we just need a little help.
Right. You're absolutely right. And that brings us to another important strategy: build a strong support network.
Okay, that's good advice for life in general.
Yeah.
But how does it apply to AI specifically?
When we're facing major changes and uncertainties, it's essential to have people we can turn to for support, guidance, and encouragement.
Right.
These can be friends, family members, mentors, colleagues, anyone who can offer a listening ear, a different perspective, or a helping hand.
It's about recognizing that we don't have to go through this alone. There's strength in numbers,
Right.
and we can leverage the collective wisdom and experience of our communities.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to reach out for professional help if you need it. Therapists, career counselors, and coaches can provide invaluable support and guidance during times of transition.
Yeah. It's a sign of strength, not weakness,
Yeah.
to ask for help when we need it.
Yeah.
And sometimes just talking about our fears and anxieties can make them feel less overwhelming.
Absolutely. And finally, remember that feeling anxious about AI is a perfectly normal human response to a rapidly changing world. Don't beat yourself up for feeling this way.
So it's about normalizing those feelings, recognizing that it's okay to feel uncertain in the face of such drastic technological advancements.
Exactly. By creating space for these conversations, we can start to find solutions and move forward together.
Yeah,
It's not about pretending that everything is fine.
right.
It's about acknowledging the challenges and finding ways to navigate them with resilience and hope.
I love that. It's not about ignoring the storm. It's about learning to dance in the rain.
Hmm.
And speaking of dancing, I think it's time for us to move on to the final part of our AI deep dive.
Indeed, there's still much to explore.
All right, so we've talked about the impact of AI on individual jobs, how to manage our anxieties, and even like how to turn this challenge into an opportunity. But now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, that's a crucial perspective. AI isn't just changing individual jobs, it's transforming the very fabric of our society.
Okay, that sounds a little dramatic, but I'm intrigued. What do you mean by that?
Well, we're talking about like fundamental shifts in power dynamics, economic structures, and even, the nature of human interaction. For example, one of the most pressing concerns is how AI will impact inequality, both within and between countries.
That's a huge topic. We're already grappling with massive inequality around the world. How does AI add fuel to that fire?
Well, AI-powered automation has the potential to displace certain jobs.
Right.
And those most likely to be affected are those in like low-wage worker jobs and those in routine-based occupations.
Okay.
Think about manufacturing jobs, data entry, even some customer service roles.
Right.
These are jobs that are, more easily automated.
So the very people who are already struggling economically are the ones who stand to lose the most. That
Yeah.
creates a vicious cycle, doesn't it?
It does, and it could lead to a further widening of the income gap, creating a more polarized society.
Right.
But it's important to remember that AI isn't inherently good or bad, it's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
So there's a flip side to this coin. AI could potentially be used to help address inequality.
Absolutely, yeah. AI can be used to improve access to education, healthcare, and financial services for underserved populations. Imagine AI-powered tutoring programs that personalize learning for students from disadvantaged backgrounds, or AI-driven diagnostic tools that can provide affordable healthcare in remote areas.
So it really comes down to how we choose to develop and deploy AI. It can be a force for progress, but only if we're intentional about it.
Exactly. We need to be mindful of the ethical implications of AI and ensure that it's used in a way that benefits all of humanity, not just a select few. This requires a multi-pronged approach. First and foremost, we need to prioritize education and skills training. As AI reshapes the job market, it's crucial to equip everyone with the knowledge and abilities they need to thrive.
So investing in human capital is more important than ever.
Absolutely, yeah. This means providing access to quality education and training programs, not just for young people, but for workers of all ages who need to reskill or upskill.
It's about recognizing that learning is a lifelong process,
Yeah.
especially in the age of AI.
Yeah,
We can't just rest on our laurels. We need to constantly be evolving and adapting.
exactly. And we also need to be aware of the issue of bias in AI algorithms.
Oh, right. This is something we hear a lot about. How does bias creep into AI systems? It seems like a computer program should be inherently objective.
Well, AI algorithms are trained on massive data sets.
Right.
And if those data didn't reflect existing societal biases, the algorithms will perpetuate and even amplify those biases.
So, for example, if an AI system used for hiring is trained on data that shows a preference for male candidates in certain roles, it might unintentionally discriminate against female applicants,
Exactly.
even if it's not explicitly programmed to do so.
Exactly, yeah. And this can have like serious consequences, perpetuating inequality and injustice in areas like hiring, lending, even criminal justice.
So how do we address this issue of algorithmic bias? Is it even possible to create truly unbiased AI systems?
It's a challenge,
Yeah.
but it's not insurmountable. We need to ensure that the data sets used to train AI systems are diverse
Okay.
and representative of the populations they're intended to serve. And we need to develop mechanisms for auditing AI systems for bias and for holding developers accountable for creating fair and equitable algorithms.
So it's about transparency, accountability, making sure that AI is used ethically. It sounds like we need a massive collaborative effort to make this happen.
We do. It's not just a technological issue.
Right.
It's a social and political one as well. We need governments, businesses, and civil society organizations to work together
Yeah.
to create policies and regulations that promote responsible AI development and deployment.
It's about finding the right balance between fostering innovation and protecting the public interest. And that's no easy feat.
It isn't, but it's essential if we want to ensure that AI serves humanity, not the other way around.
So we've talked about AI's impact on inequality, the issue of algorithmic bias, the need for ethical guidelines. Is
Mhm.
there anything else we need to consider as AI becomes more deeply woven into the fabric of our society?
Yeah, there's one more crucial aspect we haven't touched on yet.
Okay,
AI's impact on human connection and interaction.
that's interesting. I hadn't thought about it from that angle.
Yeah. As AI becomes more sophisticated, it's blurring the lines between human and machine interaction. We're already seeing this with chatbots,
Right.
virtual
Mhm.
assistants, and social media algorithms that curate our online experiences.
And with the rise of virtual and augmented reality, those lines are only going to become even more blurred. It makes you wonder, what does it mean to be human in a world where we're increasingly interacting with machines that can mimic human behavior?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We need to think critically about how these technologies are shaping our relationships, our sense of self, and our understanding of the world around us.
It's like we're entering uncharted territory, and the social and ethical implications are profound. It's a bit daunting, to be honest.
It is, but it's also incredibly exciting. We have the opportunity to shape the future of AI, to
Right.
ensure that it's used in a way that enhances our lives, strengthens our communities, and promotes a more just and equitable world.
That's a powerful message to end on. AI is not just a technological revolution, it's a human revolution. And it's up to us to decide what kind of future we want to create.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into AI and its impact on white collar jobs and society as a whole. It's a complex and rapidly evolving landscape. But I hope we've provided you with a framework for understanding the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration. We hope you've gained valuable insights and are feeling empowered to navigate the AI revolution with confidence and a sense of hope.
Remember, AI is not a force to be feared, but a tool to be understood, shaped, and ultimately mastered. The future is in our hands.
Until next time, keep those minds curious and those learning engines running.